I am so excited for today's buying guide because it is on a brand owned by one of my favorite perfumers, Sonia Constant. I already dedicated a whole video on her creations, which I will leave linked down below if you want to know more about her and her creations. Today, we are talking about everything Ella K. So all the fragrances that are currently available from this brand. And I'm going also to tell you the inspiration behind each fragrance. Ella K was created in 2018 by Sonia Constant, a renowned perfumer and the nose behind a lot of my absolute favorite fragrances. The brand has quite a unique inspiration. So Ella K, or Ella K, I should say, because it's French, is a combination of two names. So Ella comes from Ella Maillard, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, who is a Swiss woman that traveled the world to explore in a time where women were not allowed to. So it is an homage to her. And K comes from the name of the grandfather of Sonia Constant, who also loved to travel. So there was no surprise here that the whole inspiration of the brand is the travels that Sonia does around the world. She uses a specific technology to capture smells during her travels and then uses these smells to create her beautiful perfumes. I have to say, this is one of the most beautiful niche brands out there. Definitely not a beginner-friendly niche house. Like the majority of the fragrances are a little bit challenging, let's say, if someone is just beginning into the niche world. Let's start with their newest release, and it is Amber K. This is inspired by her travel to the Dominican Republic. So she was inspired by the smells that she encountered during her visits there. So the cocoa, vanilla, the cigar, a mysterious flower called spiderfly, and the result was Amber K. When I first sprayed this fragrance, I immediately smelled something familiar. To me, it has a lot of similarities with Rouge Sarai. I know the notes are not identical and they are not like identical fragrances. They just, I would say, share the same vibe. So you have this cozy, sweet amber mixed with a little bit of a smoky touch here. And this fragrance smells to me like if Tom Ford, Tobacco Vanille, and Rouge Sarai from Atelier des Ors had a baby. It is an amazing scent and one of the best from Ella K. Such a beautiful, ambery, slightly tobacco scent. So beautiful. Highly recommend this fragrance. This is a totally winter fragrance, so I don't know why they released it now, but it is an amazing creation if you love ambery fragrances. If you love fragrances like Rouge Sarai and you imagine something a little bit less sweet, let's say, and have a tobacco note, this is the fragrance. Amber K is a stunning fragrance, highly recommended, 10 out of 10. Next we have Camellia K, inspired by the flowers, the red camellia, which I think she mentioned in one of her interviews. She captured that smell because camellia actually have no smell, but there is a specific camellia in Vietnam that has a smell called also red dragon, if I'm not mistaken. So this fragrance is centered around this flower, but the inspiration is actually not a travel to a specific place, but a movie. And it's so strange that I actually thought about this film when I smelled this fragrance. I swear to you, I was shocked when I was preparing for this buying guide and I was reading that the inspiration is the movie that I actually thought of when I smelled this fragrance. And it is In the Mood for Love. This movie is regarded as one of the most romantic movies. And I can't tell you what reminded me of this movie in this fragrance. I think it's the color. So even if you don't know that this fragrance is inspired by red camellias, when you smell it, I smell deep red, a sensual red color. I don't know why I was transported immediately to that movie, and I couldn't believe myself that the inspiration is actually that movie. So I would say she did a great job with this fragrance. Now, regardless of the inspiration, this smells like a niche, more elegant version of a L'ETTRE Rouge. So if you know that fragrance, I wanted something a little bit more, I don't want to say elegant, but more sophisticated. Yes, this is the word. A more sophisticated version of that fragrance than Camellia K is for you. It's so beautiful. A beautiful, sexy, floral, spicy fragrance. So it has a beautiful tuberose. Yes, the inspiration is red camellias, but there is no red camellias in the notes. I don't believe that you can extract that smell anyway. So it's vanilla, it's tuberose, it has this patchouli base, a little bit of blood orange. So you can see the resemblance even when it comes to the notes with L'ETTRE Rouge. But this is just more sophisticated, more rich, let's say more expensive in a way. Definitely a sexy date night scent. So beautiful. Camellia K again is a 10 out of 10. Highly recommended for those who are looking for a sexy date night scent, who want a nice tuberose scent, or want a more sophisticated version of L'ETTRE Rouge. Next we have Musky. And this is one of the best musk fragrances on the market. By the way, she is the nose behind a lot of Narciso Rodriguez fragrances. So it's not a surprise that she will create this beautiful musk fragrance. It's clean, it's white, it's crisp, and it is inspired by, I am going to butcher the name, I'm sorry. Let me see. Maranhão. I'm sorry. That is in Brazil. So you can see the inspiration. It is very clean, white, almost has a little bit of a marine saltiness to it. This is a fragrance that you would wear if you are into the clean girl aesthetic. If you love musky fragrances, it's also, I would say, a signature-worthy scent, office-friendly scent, such a versatile, easy-going fragrance. It has this almost powdery, creamy, like powdery and creamy floral aspect to it. It's so beautiful. One of the best musk fragrances on the market. It's very musky in the opening, like a clean musk. In the dry down, it's this blend of a beautiful, clean, powdery floral with a creamy, clean musk. It is 10 out of 10 again. This is a beautiful musky scent. If you love musk, you have to check this fragrance. It is, again, 10 out of 10. The next fragrance is inspired actually by Italy, specifically Lake Como and Monte Rosa. This is Orchid K. And here I have to say, I do not like this fragrance very much. Now, on paper, this fragrance has a different experience than on skin. So mainly what I don't like about this fragrance is the dry down of my skin. It is an extremely synthetic smelling fragrance. I know that a lot of people love this smell, but I personally can't tolerate the syntheticness of this fragrance. And I don't want you to be fooled by the notes, because there is orchid, there is marshmallow, there is vanilla. And this is what I am getting on paper, to be honest. But on my skin, I am getting an overdose of Ambrofix, which is one of her favorite notes, by the way. And I wished for her not to like that note so much. It is in an overdose here and gives this synthetic edge that I don't like. It has also a sequoia note. And these two for me are totally ruining this fragrance. It's kind of a mix of these synthetic woodiness with this nice fluffy sweet vanilla. So yeah, this is the only fragrance from her that I would say I did not enjoy at all, and I actually would not recommend. Another note that Sonia Constant is well known for is rose. She is actually called the queen of rose, and I have to say I totally agree. Her rose creations are the most exquisite rose scents on the market, and definitely one of them is in her brand, and it is Lettre de PUSHKAR. Inspired by India, Rajasthan. PUSHKAR is in Rajasthan, India. This is an extremely sophisticated dark rose, something that you have never smelled before. And objectively, I would say this is her best creation. A unique, mysterious, dark rose. Again, this is one of the fragrances that when you smell, you see a color. And when I smell this fragrance, I see brick red. So this brownish red color, a vibrant brick red color. So beautiful. This is the best ambery dark rose I have ever smelled. It is woody and spicy. There is a lot of saffron. So if you are not a fan of saffron, I would say this fragrance is not for you. You also have to love nutmeg to enjoy this fragrance. It's quite predominant here. It dries down more sweet, less spicy, but not jammy. Like I wouldn't consider this as a jammy rose. It's more of a dark, sweet rose with a lot of spiciness, with a woody base. It is a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Again, amazing performance. I didn't talk about the performance with the rest of the fragrances. Like all of the ones that I've mentioned and every single fragrance I would say from the brand has a stellar performance, with the exception of MUSC, which is to be expected because it's more of a clean, musky scent. Next, we have Cri du Kalahari, which is inspired by the Kalahari Desert in South Africa and inspired also by the baobab tree. Actually, in Fragrantica, they list only baobab as notes for this fragrance. And to me, its opening smells almost like an aromatic sandalwood. It has a coldness to it, which is quite unique. Totally unisex, leaning slightly masculine fragrance. It's simple, not so sophisticated like the rest of the fragrances, but it's so unique. The coldness I can't explain that I get from this fragrance. And I don't know how baobab smells, but I am smelling sandalwood. So it's a beautiful sandalwood to my nose with a little bit of an aromatic touch. And it is very dry, an extremely dry fragrance. And I can smell also that there is a little bit of amber fix in the fragrance. She loves that note, but mostly it's a woody fragrance. And I don't know, I'm smelling sandalwood. Please tell me in the comments down below if you have smelled this fragrance. What are you smelling? I've never smelled the baobab tree, so I can't tell you, but I'm smelling personally sandalwood. Anyway, I have also to mention that this one, when it comes to performance, is on the weak side compared to the others. So this is a moderate longevity and sillage on my skin. Next is REFLET Sulukavango. It's quite difficult to pronounce it. This is inspired by the river in Botswana. And this is such a unique scent. This is again a theme that you will have in every single fragrance except for Camellia K and a little bit Amber K. All the rest are extremely unique. I bet you have never smelled anything like them. Especially this one. This is the most unique one. And specifically, this is the unique floral scent. So here you have acacia or acacia. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. So it has this honeyed floral note. And on Fragrantica, they mention only that note, but I can see from the sample here, they mention tonka bean, they mention almond, dried herbs, and a caper bush. For me, this smells like acacia, so this is the star ingredient, let's say. A little bit of an aromatic touch and some amber fix again. Like there is a syntheticness in it, which is the only thing that I don't like about this fragrance. So if you are on the market for a unique floral scent, this is one of the most unique florals I have ever smelled. It's such an interesting fragrance, and every time you smell it, you get something different, extremely artistic. A very, very artistic, beautiful floral fragrance. So that was REFLET Sulukavango. What a name. Speaking about unique florals, the next one is PLUIE Sulalung. And this is an extremely watery, almost transparent floral fragrance. At the beginning of the fragrance, for about 30 minutes, all what I can get is the lily and also the lotus flower. However, in the dry down is when I get a little bit of the base and I get the cyclamen note and again a synthetic note. So I believe there is, again, ambrofix in this fragrance. And it's, again, the only thing that I don't like about it. This fragrance would have been added to my collection if I would have smelled it 2-3 years ago, because I was really into these kind of fragrances. I currently don't like lotus and lily fragrances, but if you do, you will love this one. So this is inspired by her travel to Vietnam in Halong. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, during the monsoon. So this is why the name PLUIE, which means, I think, rain in French. And it is an extremely watery scent. I totally get the inspiration. Not a safe blind buy. This is, again, extremely unique. You have to test this one and see for yourself if you like it. I have to say, specifically for the two that I have mentioned, PLUIE sur la Longue and REFLET sur le Covango. These two specifically are not a safe blind buy because of how unique they smell. Next we have Poeme de Sagano, and this is inspired by Kyoto, a city that I actually went to in Japan. It's beautiful and I definitely get the inspiration, to be honest. This is all about bamboo. And this fragrance is one of the most representative fragrance of a bamboo. It has some citruses, you have the bamboo, and a little bit of a minty touch. I don't know why, but specifically Japan, when I imagine it, I am always associating it with something very light, musky, green, maybe slightly floral. It's just so beautifully represented here. Here there's no florals, at least that I can smell. But the green, crisp, clean, fresh air is beautifully represented here. If you're looking for a fragrance that has a beautiful bamboo note or is representing a bamboo, this one is for you. Another fragrance inspired by Kyoto, and I am going to butcher the name. MEMOIRE de DAISEN. I don't know. This is a soft floral, a soft rose scent with musk, a little bit of a citrusy accents, specifically when you smell it up close, sweet citruses when you smell it up close, and it is a very easy-going rose scent. There is also hidden in the notes, which I get maybe in the background. It has, again, a synthetic base, which definitely uplifts the fragrance, makes it lighter, makes it almost clean-like, but it adds a kind of a woody aspect to the fragrance that I did not expect. Here I actually enjoy the synthetic notes. It just adds to the fragrance, it doesn't subtract from it. Not exactly the florals that I would associate with Japan. I would imagine something, I don't know, less carnal in a way, more transparent. It is a transparent fragrance. Actually, it's almost sparkling. When you smell it, it's almost bubbling, sparkling, fresh, clean rose, but not exactly what I personally associate with a floral representation of Kyoto. She was inspired actually with this fragrance specifically with the gardens in Kyoto, Japan. And this is a fragrance that you will go to if you want something extremely fresh, transparent, and like smelling the roses in the garden, if that makes any sense. Next, we have a leathery floral fragrance, and this is GHIBLI or GHIBLI. Oh, so unique again. This fragrance is inspired by Morocco. So you get the tanneries of Morocco with the leather note, you have the jasmine again, and the inspiration specifically is the warm air that is lifting the scent. And I definitely have to read you the inspiration because it's so beautiful. So she says, I wanted to work on the idea of a warm wind lifting grains of sand, heated by the sun and golden as honey. I worked on this burning breath, which I interpreted with solar notes of Imperial Arabian jasmine. I used powdered almonds and roasted pistachios to create the texture of warm sand, and I combined these ingredients with note of supple leather to celebrate the wonder of the meandering, hypnotic curves of a woman's body that you can imagine when you look at the dunes from a distance. This is poetry. By the way, when she spoke about the inspiration behind the brand, she actually mentioned that that Ella K is like an imaginary person, woman who writes love letters and poems to her lover. And this is why I love so much Sonia Constant, guys. Anyway, returning to the fragrance. This is one of the most unique jasmine fragrance I've ever smelled. Did you ever smell a jasmine with leather? Like, I would have never guessed that the combination would work, but it does. Now, you have to go through the opening with this fragrance, because in the opening it's a little bit on the indolic side, let's say, because the leather doesn't really help with the indolic side of jasmine, but the dry down is beautiful. If you can imagine the complexity, the vibe, let's say, of Maisons Lancôme Roses Berberanza, but instead of rose, you have jasmine, it's something similar to this fragrance. So you have this nutty jasmine, almost with a slight animalic leather, like just a hint. Such a beautiful scent, but not for the faint of heart. This is not a safe blind buy again. Another inspired Morocco fragrance. She doesn't really actually specify Morocco, but she talks about tanneries in North Africa, so I guess it's Morocco. I may be mistaken. This is a totally different fragrance. So here she actually worked on the combination of light and shadow in the desert by the dunes. The leather here is not animalic at all. Like, I can hardly smell it. What I am smelling is an overdose of cedarwood. Cedarwood and geranium. The end result is this beautiful masculine fragrance. This is 100% masculine. Now, people on Fragrantica compare this one to Sauvage. I feel like they are insulting this fragrance. I think what people see here that reminds them of Sauvage from Dior is the Ambrofix again. So there is a lot of synthetic ambroxan here. And I think this is why they are thinking of Sauvage. Is it because people compare it to Sauvage? I don't know. But I am getting, in this fragrance specifically, a little bit of a designer vibe. But again, it could be just in my head. So if you love cedar, I would say this is a fragrance for you. Next is a fragrance inspired by Egypt. So I was very, very excited to test this one. I didn't know actually before testing the fragrance that it is inspired by Egypt. But I think I had a hunch because of the name. So the name is KHAMSIN, but I think she means HARMATTAN, which are these sandstorms that hit Egypt specifically. I would say, I don't remember. Was it in spring? Like, I don't know. 1 or 2 days where you have these sandstorms. They are not like what you are seeing in the films where you cannot walk. Actually, people go around their work and everything normally. It's just a little bit of sand, let's say. And it has become lighter and lighter because I think as the city expands, you have a lot of buffer zone. Maybe, I don't know. This is just my personal interpretation. Anyway, this is again leather. So she is also inspired by the desert, specifically one of my favorite places, a magical place, let's say, Siwa Oasis, and also the streets of Cairo, the markets where you are smelling the leather. Funny enough, actually, if I would do a fragrance that smells like Egypt, I would definitely include leather. It's true. So you have here a sweet orange blossom with dates and leather. It's kind of a simple fragrance, quite straightforward, and I would have categorized it as a leathery orange blossom, but it really in the dry down is all about the dates and the leather, and the orange blossom really takes the background, like it's just a hint. It's almost like only the hint of orange blossom that you will find in Middle Eastern desserts. So it's kind of a simple fragrance, unique, but honestly, I can't say that it is my favorite one. So I am a little bit upset that this is the fragrance inspired by Egypt and it's not my favorite one. But anyway, if you're looking for a very sweet leathery fragrance, this is it. I have to say, the next one is my favorite leather fragrance that she created, and it is Melodie d'Altaï. So inspired by the Altai, know how to pronounce it, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the name, in Kazakhstan. And again, I have to read you her inspiration because it's quite fitting and you will get an idea how this fragrance smells. So she says, the wilderness awakens a kind of animal instinct, an almost carnal emotion. This fragrance is the dreamy scent of a return to primitive life, in the noblest sense of the word. And this is a stunning ambery leather fragrance. Totally unisex. So you have leather, you have amber, a little bit of saffron, and a styrax note. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. I am not a fan of leather. But if I have to choose a leather fragrance, I would choose something like this one. Totally unisex, mainly because of the amber and a little bit of the sweetness you will get here, most probably from the styrax and the amber accord. It has a slight animalic touch, but it's not off-putting, and I'm not a fan of animalic notes at all. It's a dreamy fragrance. It's a dreamy fragrance that I don't know again why. When I smell it, I see horses in the wilderness. It just is. I don't know. I never know why a specific image comes to my mind when I smell something, but with this one, I am seeing wild horses in nature. It just is. So if you are looking for a sweet, ambery, slightly spicy leather, I would highly recommend this one. It's absolutely beautiful. And that was it. These were all the fragrances currently available from LETTRE. Now a few words about the brand and Sonia Constant's creation in general. This is an extremely niche artistic brand. Some fragrances are more challenging than others, but overall this is not a brand that you will go to if you are new into niche. The exception for that is MUSC, MEMOIRE de DAISEN. God, the name. I am struggling here. That are quite easygoing, fresh scents. A little bit also PLUIE de Soulalung is also quite easygoing, I would say. But the rest is a little bit more deep, more dark, more artistic in a way. Some, again, more than others. And you can really see the inspiration in every single fragrance and how talented Sonia Constant is. It's not a surprise that I love her so much. She created so many of my favorite fragrances, guys. My personal favorites from the brand that I would buy, I would say, is MUSC. Definitely, this is on my wish list. If they had travel sizes, I would add also LETTRE de PUSHKAR, because it's a scent profile that I love, but I can't wear so much of. So a full bottle, I will never finish in my life. So I would be more than happy with just a travel size of that fragrance. The same goes also for CAMELIA K. Again, a scent profile that I need only a travel size of. The one that I am also considering adding to my fragrance collection is Amber K. That fragrance is so beautiful. I really love this fragrance, but I'm still not sure if I'm going to add it, since it has two fragrances, like it has similarities with two fragrances that I already own, which is Rouge Sarai and Tobacco Vanille. So I still am indecisive about that one. The most mass-pleasing scents from the brand are definitely MUSC, CAMELIA K, Amber K, and Mémoire de DAISEN. Oh my god, this name. These, I would say, are the safest from the brand. The only things that I don't like about the brand, me personally, is the overuse of Ambrofix in some fragrances. I know she loves Ambrofix, but I think specifically in LETTRE, her own brand, she goes a little bit heavy-handed with Ambrofix. Sometimes it works, but sometimes I feel like it's a little bit too much. But again, this is just my personal opinion. I still love her. And if you ask me objectively, what is the best fragrance from this brand, I would say Lettre de PUSHKAR. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this fragrance. She created a masterpiece, like truly a masterpiece. So highly recommend that fragrance, but not a safe blind buy. You have to test that fragrance. It's not for everyone. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you did, please give me a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel Don't forget to tell me in the comments down below your favorite Elaka fragrance. And don't forget to check my video on Sonia Constant. You will find it in the description down below, as well as a playlist of all the buying guides that I did. Every month I do a buying guide, so I have a lot. You can check it in the description down below. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time. Ciao.